Well, hi there, everyone. This is Scott with a quick arts and crafts video. So I'm doing a Samhain-themed arts and crafts. I'm going to put some wax on a pumpkin. We'll see how that goes. Now, this year, I grew pumpkins, and it was actually inspired by playing Animal Crossing. So I decided to see, hey, in Animal Crossing, I'm growing all these colors of pumpkins. I'm going to try growing them. And I did. I ended up getting 4 pumpkin plants out of planting a whole bunch of things and ended up getting about 12 pumpkins. And at the end of the season, I'm like, well, what do I do with all these pumpkins now? So I tried selling them out the front of the house. That didn't go so well. I ended up donating a bunch of them to the university, to the dorms for the students to have a pumpkin carving event. I've saved one for me to eat and one for me to carve. And then I'm going to do art and craft with one. Now, the one I'm doing arts and crafts with is actually not one I grew. It's a white pumpkin. I tried to grow white pumpkins, but I failed. And so I had to go and buy a white pumpkin, which is funny because I'm sitting there with like 12 pumpkins. Like, why are you buying a pumpkin? Well, because I want to do this art and craft thing. So the idea here is that you start with crayons. And what I did is I took the crayons and I took off the paper using a box cutter. So I ran it down the side to let me peel off the paper. I then broke them in half, as you can see. Figured out what kind of artistic pattern I wanted to have, and then now I've hot glued them to the top of the pumpkin. This pumpkin is a little crooked, so just like me. What I'm trying to do is I've got it perched up here a little bit, and I got to fix that back up now because I picked up the pumpkin to show it to you and messed everything up, man. So we're going to get the camera now pointing at the pumpkin. The idea is that then you use a hot air gun, to melt the crayons. So what I have, because I've been doing these acrylic pours, I have this little mini hot gun. So it's kind of like a hairdryer, but it's a hotter temperature. And you use that to melt the wax on the crayons, and the wax drips down, and there you have it. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to see what happens together. And that's why you're watching this, aren't you? You're watching this to see if it all goes wrong, because that's what you'd like to see. Well, hopefully it won't. And I'll have a beautiful piece of art at the end of it. And you'll be inspired to do something. Let's go. Okay, we've gone handheld here. So in theory, I can use one hand to hold the camera because I can use the other hand to hold my my hot air gun here and melt those crayons, and that way I'll be able to easily move around and see what happens. I have no idea if this is going to work or what's going to go on. I have put down plastic on the table. Because my pumpkin sits crooked, I have put some junk wrapped in plastic there. Hopefully I'll be able to peel that off easily and it won't break things. The good thing about this is if I try it and it doesn't work, it's going to be very easy to just add more crayons. So I can go back and forth. I still have piles of crayons, so I can do more if I need to. I guess we just start the wax play and see what happens. All right, nozzle may be hot. I hope so, hot nozzle. So it's on low speed. I'm not sure if I need to be on low or high speed here. That doesn't seem to be doing anything yet. So I think we may have to pump it up. Pump it up to the high speed. All right. Woo-hoo, here we go. Now, I can go and get a bigger gun if it's not... Oh, we got dripping. We got some dripping. All right, we got drama happening. So I don't know if I should... that's not going the direction I thought it would go at all. All right, so we're going to abort here for a second because I'm realizing I do think I'm going to need both hands because I think because my pumpkin is cattywampus, I'm going to need to tilt the pumpkin as I melt each one to get the flow going. If I want to make stripes down, I'm going to have to be participatory, so I can't just let it go. So I'm going to turn this off, mount the camera up on something, and we will try this again shortly. Set up. I'm realizing I'm going to need to be more active in the process because this pumpkin, so when it sits normal, if I take this thing out here, you can see it's quite crooked. I don't want that. I want the dripping to happen as though it were straight up. So I think I'm going to have to guide the dripping as we go. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to hold the pumpkin to make that happen. I'm not sure. I think I'm just going to have to focus on a color and then rotate the pumpkin, maybe. I don't know. I may want my helper just so I won't get tired. I'm not sure how this is going to go. But I've started with the red. I scraped off. I keep touching and breaking these things, but I can just re-hot glue them if I need to. So Again, my goal here is I want the dripping to go straight down. So that means I'm going to have to guide the drips to make it do that. So let's get my cable on my gun back on hot heat, and we're off. So we'll start with the red. Once it starts dripping, I'm going to watch it. Oh my gosh, it's going everywhere. Okay. All right, maybe I'll lower that down. All right, there, now we're getting somewhere. I am glad I have the towel down. I'm gonna go up a little higher so I don't get so much splattering. So things seem to be going okay. Look at what I got. Yeah. I realize that as soon as it touches the pumpkin, I have more control over where it goes. So I do want to do that pretty quickly. So, seems to be working. I'm noticing I want to come and kind of make sure that the corners of it runs down, so I'm melting it down there. I see I'm getting little bubbles. I don't know how hot this is. Oh, it's not hot. Okay. And if I can pop these bubbles, or if those are, I don't know. There's like bubbles on the top. That's interesting. I'm not sure what those are. That's funny. It's solid. Oh, I know what that is. Duh, that's the hot glue that I'm seeing. That's the hot glue. I was going to roll and show it to you, but I don't want to crack what I've got so far. So we're going to move on. I can see this is going to be a slow process. Slower than what the internet makes it look like. Thanks, internet. What I'll have to decide is if I want to like pull off these clear bubbles and leave them and try to melt it a little bit into that, or just leave them. I will see if they peel off. Oh, they peel off. Okay. So I'll peel off the hot glue bubbles now. I guess this is what I'm doing because I've started it. Okay. That one's got wax on it, so I'm going to peel that off so I can save the wax and actually remelt it. All right, so now I've peeled off those hot glue bubbles, but now I've got to deal with the fact there's no color there. So I'm going to melt some of what's gone into the middle, try to fill in that color, if that'll work. We'll see, because I want to make a decision if that's how I'm going to do this, or I'm just going to leave the clear bubbles on as I move forward. All right, so that took me getting a little aggressive, and I'm not sure I like what happened there. It's not bad. We'll see what happens when it dries, because my other option, I have more boxes of crayons, is I could get more of these colors and just re-drip them on the top to try and fill that in. So now I'm deciding for my next one if I want to try something a little different with that hot glue chunk, because obviously that's it. I need to get it out of there sooner in the process. So I think as soon as I can, I'll try to peel it out. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so now I'm at the point where I can get access to the hot glue piece. So I'm going to peel it off. And then there's still a chunk that was on it, so I can move that chunk right onto where the hot glue bit was and go from there. I also lost a bit here, so I can put that back up there. There we go. Okay. So I can see I've got some places where I got several colors coming together, making almost like a brown, which is not really the desired effect. I'm realizing one mistake I made here. That is, when I glued these on, I didn't pay any attention to the curvature of the pumpkin underneath it, because the pumpkin is not flat. It goes wooby, wooby, wooby. And if I had put the crayons on the top of the wooby, then it would probably fill it in better. Instead, there's some places where the crayons are in the gap of the wooby there, and then it's just wanting to run right down. So I'm having to get aggressive with my hot air and my turning of the pumpkin, and I think that's causing a few of the areas where it's not as covered as it could be. On the other hand, who cares? All right, I'm just gonna have fun with it. Next, let's work on some blue. Okay, so now's the time I'm going to go in and get the hot glue bit out of there. Pull that out. Yup. Let's shove some hot crayon wax under my fingernails. That's always fun. Oh, I pulled the purple one. Oh, that's because sometimes I did two at once. That's right. Okay, we'll have to fix that. But we'll put that hot. Oh, that's hot. Yeah, that's got some warmth to it. Oh, well. Let's go ahead and get rid of it from the purple since it's there. Maybe I can keep the purple smushed in place there while it's still got some heat to it. Okay. Is that melting? So I see I've got a section here that's a little more naked than I want it to be. So I'm going to go over and, yeah, hot wax. All right. Do that, move that out. I mean, while I'm into it, might as well be into it. There we go. So you have to be interactive with this. You can't just sit and do it. You are really moving that pumpkin and making the flow happen as you go. So I'm realizing there's a lot more to this than just melting it. You're watching and directing the flow as it happens. Okay, get that hot glue piece out. Nope. Oh, okay, gone. I don't know if the best way is to do with that hot glue. If I could leave them there, they'd be little clear dots, but this is working. It's just engaging. All right, there we go. We made art. So total time was about 40 minutes there of doing this process. That's how long it took. I had to be quite active the whole time. I think we're done. We are done with our pumpkin. So there you go. Pretty cool, huh? That's a pretty neat thing. So not completely kid-friendly because you're dealing with hot wax, and it's pretty messy, but it's a kind of an entertaining thing to try. So give this a shot. You can decorate your house. Hopefully you'll make some happy memories this holiday season. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care and bye-bye.